Welcome to Thrive Radio. I'm your host, Amy Montgomery, entrepreneur and digital marketing agency owner. Today, my guest is Marc Schwartz. He's a speaker, author, leadership, Edu-Train-Ment Specialist. He is helping leaders navigate changes and excel as a high performer. Marc, welcome to the podcast.
Amy, thank you. Looking forward to it.
How did you become a coach and a mentor in leadership?
You know, it had its auspicious beginnings, and I had a regular job for 12 years, primarily in sales and marketing, and then just got tired of it. And, you know, I went and did a ropes course, Amy. I went outside. I went up to Utah in the middle of winter and did an outdoor ropes course and climbed mountains and rappelled off cliffs and jumped out of trees. And it was crazy, but it was the most profound experience I ever had. And that was back in the late 80s. And so from there, I said, you know what, this is so great. I could see where this would benefit organizations. So I came back to Texas and started doing ropes courses literally all over the country for companies. And we'd either do it portably or we would, go on site and have a what's known as a high ropes course. And it was great. It was wonderful as a transformation. And then from there, after 9/11 hit, that kind of dropped off the map. And so from there, we started going into more traditional training, consultation, coaching, et cetera. And that's where we are now.
I love that. So in walking through your journey, what are you grateful for?
Well, the gratefulness, it may sound a little odd, but I'm sure you've heard this before, is I learned more from my failures than I ever did my successes. So I am truly, truly thankful for those failures. And, they were painful and hurtful at the time, didn't understand why they happened. And over, the awareness over many years is that these things taught me lessons that accumulated and brought me to where I am today. And was actually able to help other people because of some of those pains and hurts. So, I think that's the basis for not only our team programs, but also for individual coaching as well, and helping understand what people are going through. So I'm real thankful for those failures, but also for the partners who have come on, who have been a part of our team. And they have not only brought their own expertise, but continue to teach me lessons. So I think I'll be learning until the day I pass on.
So let's talk a little bit about the younger generation, specifically millennials, and how many of them now are in leadership and they've not been taught leadership. How are you helping to empower them now to be better leaders?
Well, you're right. They absolutely are a unique generation. We've written a book called Power Shift about the millennials. And the biggest piece that we've determined and identified and honed in on, Amy, was that every generation, millennials included, have their value system. And the value system of millennials is different from the Gen Xers, is different from the boomers, which is my group, and then, the upcoming Gen Z, the value system. And those values are real prevalent. A lot of people get the millennials wrong. They think, well, they're just a bunch of spoiled little brats. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Yeah, okay, great. It may look like that, but here's what they want. They want some sense of connection, fulfillment. And they're not going to stick around an organization for a long time if they don't agree with it. They're very civically minded. They want to contribute. They want to make a difference. And if you can't provide that for them and certainly, help them upskill their talents and abilities, they're going to vote with their feet. And that is what we say. They walk out the door. And so that said, just about all generations, think you and me, I don't think too many people ever sat us down and said, well, here's some really great leadership models that you might want to use as you advance through your years, not only as an entrepreneur or inside of an organization. Nobody ever sat me down. I don't know about you, but nobody ever sat me down, and we're certainly not doing it with millennials, and shared with them a good leadership model. And I think that's what we're doing. We're sharing with them some ideas, some approaches and strategies to be a good leader, but a leader that, this is a key, aligns with their values. And, just to take 200 years of leadership, the command and control top-down approach that we've all learned, it's a disservice. Things have changed so dramatically in life and in business and in the marketplace. We can't just take that and force it down and expect everybody to adapt to that, because it's not going to work, especially the millennials. So we're doing something. We think that there's this place of empowerment. We call it the influencer mode. And then on the other side, at one other extreme, there's what we call the enforcer. That's, again, the top-down militaristic, do it my way or the highway sort of approach. And then there's the abdicator, which says, yeah, I'm a leader, I'm your boss, but I'm not really going to make decisions. I'm kind of tepid and timid. And so we're trying to teach not just millennials, but everybody, that there is this highly influential space right in the middle where you can bring in the best of all aspects, but you have to know yourself and to be really good at that. So that said, I think that's part of what we're doing for not only the generations, but for the world at large, is helping them understand there is a new leadership model that can absolutely not only tap into millennials, but be more progressive for all people.
What does it take to go to the next level or be a high performer?
Ooh, great question. One word: awareness. Awareness, purely and simply. I've traveled to 38 countries and spoken to over 65,000 people, and I've met a lot of people who have no clear idea about what their strengths are. They're not aware of who they are, what they want, why they're doing the job they're doing. But awareness, as far as I'm concerned, is the number one capability, key insight to help somebody become a great leader, so that they know not only who they are, but also how to read other people and what drives and motivates them. Because if we just close all that off and we're operating out of our own narcissistic view, our internal view and map, we're not considering the rest of the world. That's a very limited space and place to come from if you're going to lead not only a generation, but a really diverse workforce. And so awareness of who we are and what other people, what drives and motivates them, I think that's the key to true leadership and advanced performance.
What should a team do if they find that they can't work together?
Most people, get rid of the troublemakers. And I got to tell you, sometimes the troublemakers aren't really troublemakers. They just care a lot. They're very passionate, and they may come across in ways that are not acceptable in some ways, socially or business-wise. But here's the point. Again, if a team's not working well together, the goal here is to start to do something where we take a snapshot. What drives everybody? What do they want? What's the true internal motivators for each individual? And again, awareness, not only aware of them, but as a leader, if I have a team that's not working well together, I got to look at my part to this. But when I start understanding, Amy, what drives and motivates each individual, then I got the keys to the city. And then I'm not going to use it to manipulate them. This is a whole different approach. But when I know, for instance, you, Amy, you're driven because, let's just say, you want to send your child to a really nice college. And that's a motivator for you for what you do and why you get up in the morning. Okay, that's the big why. If that's true, then I want to know that, because I want to help you get there. And if I'm helping you get there and everybody else around you knows that and wants to help you get there as well, that's a different dynamic to a team than, I've got an ego. I want to feed that ego. I want to be the top dog. I want to make decisions. I'm right, you're wrong. It's just a more collaborative approach is so much more powerful. And when we understand those people on a team and they collaborate together and help each other hit those goals, not only the organizational goals, but the individual goals as well, it makes for a whole different level of accomplishment.
So why does stress make everyone a coward?
That's a good one. I don't really think it makes people cowards. What I think it does is it drains their energy. If you're out swimming in a big lake and you're trying to swim across the lake and you get tired, Amy, what's the first thing that happens to you? You start to get what? Any thoughts about that? You start wearing out and getting tired and you're in the middle of the lake.
Yeah, you start to get panicky.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So when that happens, when we start doing things that don't match our true self, that we don't have any clues to who we are, and our energy starts draining, well, we start getting panicky. And that looks typically like cowardice or abdication, or it could go the absolute other way, where when we get panicky, we go to being hyper aggressive, overly aggressive. And so our goal is to help people to understand, A, who they are, awareness. When you understand who you are, then you can do the things that more fill you, add energy, not drain energy. And here's the reason I threw up this visual is because this visual basically says all of us are born either passively or aggressively or passive aggressive. But in there somewhere, our goal is to get people to assertive, because again, you know, the point of getting to assertive is that's about 12% of the population. But that takes awareness, that takes practice, that takes skill development. And that's why, as a leader, if you're in that passive aggressive or passive aggressive place, that's not the best you. And that can many times come across as cowardice. Now, if you're striving and you're moving towards, with knowledge and conscious awareness, towards that assertive side, oh my gosh, not only do you have energy, but you come across as confident, knowledgeable, aware. And so, you know, again, 12% of the population does the things necessary to move to that level of assertiveness. And think about, if you work for somebody who's assertive, that's a positive term. Assertive versus aggressive or passive aggressive. It's a whole different relationship and outcome and fulfillment to work for somebody like that.
So can you share some of your client success stories with us?
Yeah, sure. You know, on an individual level, there have been many people that have come and they've just been stuck. I mean, on an individual coaching basis, Amy, they've been stuck. They don't know where to go. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they want. I mean, this could be anybody who's in their 20s all the way up to, you know, in their 60s. It doesn't necessarily play to a specific age. So I worked with many clients who have just kind of hit a wall and said, you know, I don't even know what I want to do, and really help them hone in and find out what they want. So they go on and go to jobs that are more in alignment with feeding them and making them feel like, hey, you know, hey, I'm really contributing. I'm not draining my energy every day. And when that happens, it's amazing. One of my clients, you know, went from a really bad team situation where not everybody liked him, and he just thought it was him, and started to get that confidence back again. So not only did he go on to a new job, but one where he is thriving and enjoying it and waking up every day. Another one was a gentleman who ran a team didn't really like him. They weren't getting results. And here's the interesting thing. He was focused on only one person. Take a guess. Who was that? Himself, right?
Yeah.
That's it. And so true help here is to say, you know, look, you've got 12 other people on this team. You need to know them. But first and foremost is what's in the way. What's the blocks that's getting in your way from you, being fully aware of who you are, really stepping into that, again, that gold of who you are, really knowing and aligning with who you are authentically. What's blocking that? So we worked on some of those blocks, got him out of the way. And not only did he go on to a new organization, but his team also is thriving. So, you know, what I see time and time again is individuals who have hit a wall, they're blocked. They don't know who they are, what they are, or where they want to go. And so our goal is to help that happen, whether it's individually or on a whole team basis.
So what are some of the programs that you offer?
Well, we do individual coaching, obviously. Primarily, a big one is team coaching, because, again, with a distributed workforce and people on Zoom and literally being all over the world. So we help work through team dynamics, whether that's virtual or live, you know, in place, face to face. Also, we have something called choice leadership, where we take a whole organization we go in, diagnose, and determine where those gaps are from a leadership standpoint, as well as those in the workforce. and find out what that gap is. What are the vital behaviors that are missing? Help people start to identify their true selves and move them into a place where it's more collaborative. And again, it's choice leadership because everybody's got the choice to move forward. And so, yeah, we're doing whole organization as well as team coaching, as well as individual coaching.
Perfect. What is your truth that has gotten you this far in your journey?
The truth is, well, is personal awareness. And that was the most difficult piece for me 20 some years ago. Didn't want to look there, didn't want to go there. And that's when I met my partner who brought forth a tool called the Core Map. And what it does is helps you get a snapshot of your inside, of your internal mental, emotional self. And that's the awareness building. So that through that Core Map experience with my partner, that was the truth, is aligning with the authentic self and enjoying life now. Instead of being drained by it, I am filled by it by doing work like this. And that was the truth. Awareness was the key that for the shift.
I love that. So, Marc, if there are people that are listening that would love to get a hold of you and work with you, what's the best way to do that?
Best way is to go to our website, www.spectracom.com. That's SPECTRACOMM.com. And there's a form there you can fill out. There's a lot of information, tells about our programs, etc. So, Amy, that's really the best way. And then we'll get back in touch as soon as possible.
Perfect. Marc, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your expertise today.
Amy, thank you. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Yes. And if you're listening, you want more information about this podcast and upcoming shows, you can visit acalltothrive.com. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful week.